Okay guys, so I'm here to answer that question that many of you have asked me. Hey Armin, how would you put Deadpool into the MCU? I really don't know why you're like an Italian hitman, but you know. Anyways, that's the question. How would I put Deadpool into the MCU? And honestly, this one doesn't need to be a long video like my how to bring all the X-Men into it or anything like that. It really doesn't, because I think Deadpool is a lot simpler than that. So when you think about what Marvel announced with that acquisition, they said that they're definitely going to be cross-pollinating all of these franchises, and we will be seeing crossover with these characters, confirming yes, Deadpool will show up in the MCU films, and of course they would be crazy not to include him in them. I mean, just think about what Deadpool did for the rated R movie and how big he made the superhero genre explode into that direction that now everybody wants to follow into it. So it just makes sense that the crossover is going to happen. So how exactly do you do it, considering he's such a weird character and such a different character than what we've gotten in the MCU so far? Well, you actually play up to that aspect in full force. So here's how I would do it. You started off with X-Force. In the X-Force movie, they're going to go back and completely redo whatever they've done so far. And I don't even believe they've finished the concrete draft that they have to go in and then give to the studio and start looking at it over and over. So still, right now, they're in the early drafting process. So X-Force is going to begin with Deadpool and Cable. As it turns out, Deadpool is convinced that Cable could somehow modify this machine he has, which just so happens to be a DeLorean, because of course it does, because cultural reference. And he needs him to turn that into a time machine so they can go back in time and, get this, prevent the mutants from being sold. The two fire up the vehicle and they time travel. As it happens, Deadpool accidentally drops a little bit of chimichanga onto the console and they get lost in time. And then they show up in the year 2020. Deadpool looks a little confused, Cable does some tech analysis from his arm, and he tells them exactly where they're at. Oh, and also there's no way of going back, as the time machine happens to get destroyed in the trip. So now they're stuck here. Deadpool looks at all the happenings in the universe and goes, oh damn, yeah, this seems like a good fit. Turns out that the mutants being sold would actually lead up to the best box office numbers ever. You know, playing a little bit with breaking the wall, but not directly talking about that. You know, we have Cable looking at him and goes, what are you talking about? He's just like, ah, never mind. Let's go. He goes, what do you mean? Go what? He goes, we just got to keep recruiting for the X-Force. That's what we were going to do anyway before we decided to do this. And there you go. Rest of the movie goes as followed. Them recruiting different X-Force members. Colossus, same exact actor. Everything's the same, just a different version of the character within the MCU. Negasonic Teenage Warhead, same thing. Domino, keep her. Whoever else might cameo in Deadpool 2, sure, keep them. It's just a different version of the character. Maybe Colossus has a brighter suit or something, more like the comic book one that he wears traditionally. Maybe Deadpool makes fun of that. You know, you just go with that. It's that simple. You just kind of break the fourth wall initially in the opening 5 minutes of the movie, and that's all you need to do. Deadpool is then kind of there. Everything is fine. He's accepted he's in this universe. X-Force continues the way it's going. Deadpool 3 is part of this continuity, and that's really all you need to do. There's nothing too complex here. You don't have to change the entire universe for anything. It's just something that Deadpool would be aware of. He's already jumped through multiverses anyway, different continuity, so there it all is.